What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got my 2024 Honda CBR650R, and I've got a part that is supposed to help stop your false neutrals. So let's jump right into this. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of exactly how this part works, but basically it's going to get installed right here. And as you can see here with where your foot shifts and you shift this arm up, there's a little bit of play in here. So when you shift up, it doesn't always shift up into the place that you need to go to. So obviously this is how you end up getting your false neutrals. You go to shift up, it doesn't go all the way up into gear, and then you hit neutral, and then bam, then you have your false neutral, which is super annoying. But basically this part is going to go in here and is going to change that pivot point to now a little bit closer, and it's going to erase some of that lateral movement, and it's going to basically make it so much easier in order to shift. So it's a really easy install. All you have to do is basically remove this arm right here. As you can see, I already have a line on here, so you want to make sure that you have it lined up here. And then you just have to take this bolt off and this little C-clamp here, and then put the part on. Okay, so here's everything that you get in the package from Racetorx. You're going to get your pack of the actual piece that you need, small little bag of grease. You're gonna get 2 Racetorx stickers and a bag of candy. I did get some Haribo Tang Fantastics. You know, these come from UK, so you know, foreign candy. Not bad. Probably gonna eat those while I'm installing this. But this is everything you get in the package, so we can go ahead, open this up, and then start installing it. Now today's episode is brought to you by Monster. I'm not sponsored by it, but I can't live without it. All right, so make sure you have some sort of line. Mine is obviously indicated with this gap here. So that's where you want to make sure you have your line there. And then go ahead and take your 10mm, and then you can take this top bolt off. And then once that bolt is out, you should be able to shift this out. And you can just kind of let that hang there on the side for now. Now you can use a small extension in order to get in here and get this other 10mm out. You may need to move that a little bit. But we're going to take out this little C-clamp looking bracket out of here. And then you're going to want this part to come out with it. And then we can set this off to the side because you're not going to reuse these parts. Now you're probably going to want a set of gloves for this part because you're going to need to use the blue grease that is supplied to put it inside this bearing here. So we're just going to put some grease inside there, and then we're going to mount it onto the bike. So now that we have this all greased up, go ahead and slide that on there. And then try to get your bottom hole lined up there, and then that is where we are going to use our 5mm on the Allen key that is supplied with it in order to tighten that down. Now once you have that all tightened down, you can go ahead and put your shifter linkage back on here and make sure you line up that arm with where it was before. As you can see, I have my line lined up again, and then you just have to put your 10mm back in here and tighten that down. Now once you have everything in and tight, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that everything shifts properly. And so what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to go out on the road and I'm going to, you know, kind of motovlog from that point. But we are going to go ahead and test this out and see how it feels once we're on the road, because we want to know what it does. All right, so we're now on the road. I'm going to go out here, test it a little bit. As you can see, I am in E-clutch mode. So switching from first gear to second. Honestly, that felt very smooth. Let's go ahead and switch back up into third. Again, That was very smooth. It didn't feel nearly as bad as it used to feel. Now, it could just be a placebo effect in my head. I know people have said that this thing doesn't work. I don't have enough experience with this to prove that it is working or is a placebo effect, but I will leave regular updates in my description. I'll leave them in my pinned comment. It'll usually be the very first comment, so definitely check that out depending on when you're watching this video. But I will definitely say that it does feel a little bit easier to shift. Like, it is definitely a more defined click, and there's more force, I would say, in order to get it in there. Like, you can definitely feel when it shifts into gear, whereas before, when I didn't have the Racetorx on there, you could kind of lift up the shifter and it didn't really feel like it was going into gear just yet. However, this is only really a problem in first to second gear, so I'm gonna try a couple more like first to second gears and see what happens. So we're gonna just kind of simulate going into traffic like we usually do. It definitely feels smoother to me. I gotta say, it feels a little bit smoother to me. It definitely doesn't feel like I have to try as hard to get it into gear. It definitely feels stiffer in the right way. Now we're gonna try it with a little bit of power. And that definitely felt a lot smoother, so even under power, again, I don't know if this is placebo or not, but it definitely feels better. Now that is all I have for today's video, and again, I'm going to update in my comment section on the pinned comment. I will update that as the days go on, you know, a couple weeks, couple months, and if it starts happening more frequently, then I will obviously mention it there. But if not, then we would know then this product is a very good product. So look out for the comments. Again, I appreciate you guys for watching. I thank you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.